Here we are. Hello, everyone. Karen sees me. We are here. There's a lot of moving parts for today, so it took me a minute because I'm going to be doing a sound bath for you. But I couldn't have my bowls up here at first, so we're going to do our mantra and our mala work, and then I'm going to get my bowls up here. So just kind of moving things around. How are you guys? Thank you so much. I'm enjoying this week, I have to say. I mean, as much as I was laughing because like half an hour ago, my brother and sister were texting me like, who's making Brussels sprouts? And like, because I host Christmas and Thanksgiving at my house. So it's like I'm managing like Brussels sprouts while I'm like trying to get my singing bowls here. And like, oh, this other thing's happening. Welcome to the holidays. But I also really love like this couple of weeks. I love this Christ consciousness. I love working with the Buddha right now. You know, it just resonates with me so much. So I'm going to share a little bit with you. Then I have donuts for dessert from Tony Buford, who sent 3 dozen donuts to Sage Goddess today. I have half of mine left. My favorite from Krispy Kreme's, which is what she's sent, is they have this one that has like, it's like a cheesecake donut. It's so good. Cheesecake plus donut equals love, right? It is. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful time. I always miss it when it's gone. So I try to slow time down just a little bit because I just know that like these weeks pass in the blink of an eye. Like I'm taking Zoe Christmas shopping tonight. I'm super excited after class. That's where I'm headed to take my little partner in crime out Christmas shopping. She's super excited to go Christmas shopping. So we're going to get a hot chocolate and walk around the mall. I insist on going to a mall because I really don't want malls not to be around anymore. I know it sounds funny. I try to support small business and then I try to support the chains of things that I like because I actually really don't want malls to go out of business. Not that I can single-handedly fix that. But can you imagine like never having a place to go and try on clothing or, you know, I don't know, test out a new eyeshadow. We're heading right over to Urban Decay because that's my favorite makeup place. So I do, you know, makeup for stocking stuffers and things like that. And I buy makeup for my girlfriends and the kids' nanny. I have a really sweet relationship with their nanny. And it was so cute. You know what she wanted for Christmas? Chrismica, because she's like us where she celebrates all the things. You know what she asked for? She asked for me to do her makeup and then to buy her the makeup that I use on her because she wants to do her makeup like mine. I thought that was really cute. So that's what we're doing next week is I'm going to do her makeup and then give her all the things. Isn't that cute? I was like, really? That's what you want? You don't just want money? I know. She's like, no, I want your makeup. I adore her. So anyway, that made me happy. So we are going to do all the things tonight. What you need to have... Super cute, right? You need to have a mala because we have a mantra tonight. It's our final mala recitation of 2019. Can you believe it? This is our last soul shift journey of 2019. Like, let that sink in for a minute. It's really hard for me to even imagine that to be true. This mala was gifted to me, by the way. And I love it. It was handmade by one of our beautiful community members, and I just adore it. So it's got lots of really fun, funky, sexy Kundalini energy, but there's also like a peace vibration to it. And I have loved it well, so it's a little on the damaged side, but that makes it have character. I have my really special activation wand because we're going to be activating your starseed kits tonight if you got one. Because I have the beginnings of an Arcturian altar set up at my house. So that's the kit that I'm activating. So if you got a kit, we're going to activate your kits tonight. You guys are so cute. And then we're doing our journey tonight, which is going to be a sound bath for you. We're going to talk about dimensions tonight. That's why I was saying I had a lot of preparation that went into tonight because there was a lot going on. So, Colin, I am primarily Syrian, but that's not what I'm activating right now. So I'm Syrian and Arcturian, if you look at the numbers. And so my guidance in working with the kits was you can choose the kit that you kind of are, or you can choose the kit that you want to activate. And because I know my Sirian lineage pretty well, and I've been thinking about it for a long time and working about it with it for a long time, what I really want to play up now, and the system I want to make contact with, is Arcturus, the Arcturian system. And that's because I'm really trying to lean in and understand what's happening on our planet. That's where a lot of my meditations have been going. I have to watch because Arcturian energy can get me a little depressed. That's the only caveat about Arcturian energy. I love you guys too. There's a lot of prophecy in Arcturian work, which can be heavy. So I have to balance that. That's right, Cindy Black. It's heavy. So April got 2 kits, so she's gonna. I mean, it just depends on what you want to work with. But I feel like the Sirian thing is is interesting to me, but it's kind of yesterday's news. And so where I want to be going with a lot of my work, my inner work, is Arcturus. And it's really interesting. I've been guided, at least for this year, maybe to work a little less with ayahuasca and a little more with some other plant medicines. Like, I'm getting all of this really interesting download and guidance. Jackie's Andromedan, Vicky's from Orion, right? Isn't that cool? My Arcturian loves your Arcturian too, Jessica. I don't know. That's what my spirit guide said. Do you know what's interesting? The main reason that I got, because I was kind of surprised too, I didn't hear that I would never do it again. I just heard it's probably not in 2020. And that's because the way I do ayahuasca is beautiful, but it's very masculine. The shaman is masculine. There's a lot of body work involved. It's a very masculine way of working with that medicine. And what I've been told is I've probably gotten a lot of what I need for right now from it, but there are other plants that I need to be working with for more masculine wisdom, or for more feminine wisdom, particularly San Pedro. So anyway, I'm just kind of holding space for all of that. But I agree with you. Cindy said that's how we know each other from the Arcturian systems. I agree. Right? Oh my goodness, Francine. Francine just got some tough news about her mother. So I'm holding space for you and for her. That's right. Well, and it's true because, and even though San Pedro is grandfather medicine, it's actually more feminine in some ways than ayahuasca medicine. It's interesting, isn't it? But, we have to stop seeing grandfather as masculine and grandmother as feminine. Ayahuasca is quite masculine in her own way, and San Pedro is quite feminine in his own way, right? Asking all of Francine's angels and spirit guides to surround her in this moment, to bring her peace and clarity. Amen, and so it is. Okay, so welcome to Soul Shift 3. For December, we have 1 class left, and we're going to have so much fun. I'm looking forward to crafting with you this month. I know I already smudged, but I'm going to smudge one more time. Just because that landed really intensely for a lot of us, and I want to make sure Francine feels good and clear as we head into our journey space 2. Just one more time. We're here with you. Okay, now I'm going to ring my bell, little cutie bell, to let you know session 3 has begun. Yeah, of course you can. You can activate without the kit. I just wanted to make sure that you... No, Aya medicine is mother medicine. She's just... In the way that I do it, I hope that makes sense. In the way that I do it, ayahuasca is masculine. My shaman is very masculine. It's a very physical, embodied experience, and I need to have more of a feminine experience. And so I'm being guided to a medicine that can be administered by and taken in a more feminine way. It's interesting, isn't it? Do you like to ring the bell with me, Wild Scarlet? I love that too. All right, you guys. So I'm going to begin by lighting my candle. I'm going to light my Buddha candle from our mesa. And the mantra on the candle, or the inscription on the candle, says, in case you don't have it, as I light this candle, I draw into the wisdom of the Buddha, the awakened one, igniting the inner torch and remembering my ability to heal. I walk in peace. I am clothed in gratitude. I am an example of compassion in action. Beauty is the lens through which I see the world. Coloring the dark spaces within until the vibrancy of my truest nature shines through. Everything I seek is everything I already am. Amen, aho, and so it is. So I'm going to place that here. Okay, so our mantra for tonight is honestly one of my favorite mantras, right? And I really love this mantra. I recite this mantra all winter long. It is such a beautiful peace mantra, which is Om Shanti. And so as we say Om Shanti, we're basically calling in the peace, the light of God, which is a beautiful, beautiful energy. I usually end all of our mantras with Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti at the end. So tonight we're making that the centerpiece of our recitation tonight. So if you have your mala, great, grab it. If you don't have a mala, don't worry, I'll count for you. That's why I have mine. And you always, this is the guru bead that helps you know when you're done, right? So you start at the first bead to your left of the guru bead. And then you move your way all the way around. You can go sunwise or moonwise. I tend to go moonwise, which is counterclockwise, but it's feminine. So that's why I tend to always do my mantra work that way. So Om Shanti, Om is the sound of the name of God, and Shanti is peace. So it's the peace of God, or the light of God, that you're invoking and calling in. And like I said, that's why I love Christmas and Hanukkah and Yule, because I feel like it's the centerpiece of all of those traditions is peace and love and connection and unity consciousness. And I think that's why this time of year, even if it's hustle and bustle for you a little bit, there's probably still this underlying frequency of connection and love and peace and gratitude and contentment. I'm glad you like it too. Okay, Ursula's there blowing kisses to us, as she should be. Okay, so let's begin. Let's take a nice deep centering breath. And we begin. Om Shanti, 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 Om Shanti. 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 Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. One of the my favorite teachings from the Bible is this idea that there is a peace that transcends the peace of this world. It's a gift that God gives you, that Christ gives you, that the Buddha gives you, that these avatars of our source consciousness can give to you. And it exceeds the peace of mankind, right? Whatever humans think of peace, the peace that comes from source is entirely unique. It is a much stronger frequency. And so when you feel like you've had kind of enough of this world or enough of everything human, Om Shanti is a beautiful way for you to reconnect and to tune into that frequency of unconditional love and the peace that transcends. Oh, isn't that beautiful? Santi is Santapriya's name, so she could feel me calling her Om Santi, Om Santi. Isn't that beautiful? I love that so much. It's true. There is a peace that transcends the peace of this world. And so I want to talk to you about that for a second before we begin all of the other work of tonight. So, the Buddha was not a god, right? It feels really important to reiterate that as we talk about the Buddha this evening and as we sort of soften into our work with the energy of the Buddha. The Buddha was not a god. The Buddha was a man. But the Buddha was a man who achieved enlightenment, right, nirvana, by exposing and experiencing these truths, okay? And one of the most important teachings of the Buddha, I think, comes down to the path that the Buddha followed to achieve enlightenment. And that path is considered to be the Four Noble Truths. Because if you know the story of the Buddha, and I'll just give you kind of the Cliff Notes version of that story, but it always inspires me. So the Buddha was actually a child Siddhartha, right, who was born to a relatively wealthy family, who really wanted to protect him from suffering and from the things of this world and the ways of this world, was trying to shield him and, prevent him from having to understand the deep sadness that exists on this planet. But ultimately, one day he was exposed to the truth, which is that human beings suffer. It's really the one thing that binds us across, whatever countries we're from or languages that we speak. All human beings know suffering. We also know joy and we also know other emotions, but on a fundamental level, at some point in every human being's life, there is suffering. And the Buddha observed that as one noble truth. All humans suffer. But there is a pathway into suffering, and there's a pathway out of suffering. And so the pathway into suffering is desire and expectation. That's the pathway into suffering. And the pathway out of suffering is to release yourself from desire and expectation and connect with the oneness of all. And so those noble truths have been powerful for me. Because sometimes when life is hard, doesn't it bring you some peace to know that you're not the only one who struggles? No matter what problem you will ever face in your life, you're not the first and you won't be the last, right? So even though it can feel like the literal weight of the world is on your shoulders, you're not the only one shouldering whatever that pain or that struggle is. And so one way out of the pain and struggles of human experience is to sort of rise above, literally rise above, and realize that, desire creates bondage. The want to have things, right, creates bondage. It really, really does. Doesn't mean that you shouldn't have things, but the act of constantly being in a state of desire creates emptiness. There is something really profound about looking around your life, and it's as hard for me as it probably is for you sometimes. But there's real power in looking around your life and being grateful for what is. It may not be perfect. I mean, you know, I look around my life and I'm like, you know, I could, like I said earlier during the readings, I could complain. There's always something to complain about. Or I could look around and say, I'm really grateful. And the only difference is my perspective, right? But if you look around this world, you see a lot of people who are hurting or constantly trying to fill that wound or fill that gap, and they're trying to fill it with things or something outside of themselves, something external. When I finally lose weight, when I finally get that relationship, when I finally get that thing, I'm saving up for this. We're always postponing our joy. But there's a lot of reasons just to be happy and content in this moment, even though everything isn't perfect. There are people who would look at my life and be like, no thanks. I mean, I'm sure, you know, like, I don't really want to have an incurable disease. I don't really want to work 7 days a week. I don't want to have, you know, a constant set of demands on me. I don't want to have a million people asking me for answers all the time. Like, I don't want that, right? But I look at that and I feel very blessed with those things. I love having, you know, so much going on all the time. And I love my family and I love what I do. And I feel like it's a gift and an honor to be able to do it. But there are a lot of people who'd be like, nope, I'm good. So you have to realize that about your life too. You might look at your life and say, oh no, nobody would want this, right? But you chose this. Like I can consciously look around my life and tell you everything in my life I asked for. And it's here. And if I'm not grateful for it, what does that tell the universe? You know what I mean? Like, at some point, everything around you, most things around you were a wish. Even the things that seem not so good. I always tell you, MS is the biggest blessing in my life. I'm super grateful for it. It's weird. I'm so grateful for it because I wouldn't be sitting here with you if that hadn't happened. I guarantee you. Like, Sage Goddess wouldn't exist if MS didn't exist in my life. Isn't that interesting? Julia Rio said she just learned that there is a group called Refuge Recovery. It's like AA, but it follows the Buddhist path and focuses on the Four Noble Truths. Isn't that interesting? Yeah. And that's very true, Cindy Nolan, that Buddha said in the end that only three things matter: how much you loved, how gently you lived, and how gracefully you let go of things that weren't meant for you. I think I have tried really hard to love a lot. I think there have been times in my life where the universe had to pry some shit out of my tight little fist. I didn't always let go of things that weren't meant for me. Did you? That's where I can candidly look and say, you know, I wasn't so good at that for a very long time. I was like, no, I want that and I want it and it's mine and you can't have it. I'm better at it now. But man, there was a time I'm like, nope, that is all mine right there. That's very true. Michelle said, depends on where you were when you wished for it. Was it out of desperation? Because it might come to you with that same vibration. Isn't that interesting? Yeah. I've resisted a lot of the comings and goings. So one of the things I try to teach and I try to model is, if something wants to leave me, bye. I don't, and I still struggle a little bit, but not externally. If something wants to go, it should go. If something wants to stay, it should stay, right? That's right. It's really, really true. So it resonates with a lot of us, I think. But the loving part, I think we are all trying to love. I see you guys genuinely trying to love. I see it in the group, and I also see your personal posts and things. Like, you really are spreading a lot of love and a really beautiful light out into the world, just from what I witnessed by observing you. And then the living gently, I think we're getting better at that. You know what I mean? Like, not leaving such a footprint on the planet that has to be cleaned up after we after we leave. Okay, so I want you to, as we do our journey this evening with Buddha, here's my intention. Here's what my spirit guides said for this journey. I was like trying to micromanage this journey tonight. My spirit guides were like, nope, here's what you're doing. So here's what they want me to do. I have 3 singing bowls. I'm going to start by playing the first 2, and then the third one I have to play last and by itself. So I'm going to briefly walk you through dimensional awareness and the chakras right now. And I think this will really resonate with you. I've never really taught this to you like this before, but as we're going through the meditation, what my spirit guides have said is that we're going to begin at 3D, okay? Michelle's ready for meditation. That's good. Michelle needs a little healing love tonight too. Cecilia's sweet kitty. So 3D is the root chakra. And if you think about it, that's the chakra of survival. Most people on this planet are just trying to survive. Have you noticed that? They're like, just get me through this day, just get me through this week, just get me through this, just get me through that. So most of us live in our root chakra, which, by the way, develops between the ages of 0 and 5. So most of us are like little kids on a grown-up planet. And that is why there's bickering. That's why think about a 5-year-old, how they engage with the world. They think about themselves. They don't always know right from wrong, right? So it's kind of a selfish mentality, a 3D mentality. It's about survival. It's about basic needs. Am I hungry? Am I full? Do I have a roof over my head? That's why most people in 3D, there's a certain amount of bondage, right? Because it's like, if you're only worried about, do I have a place to live? Do I have food to eat? Like, that's not ascension energy. That's just barely getting by in a human capacity, right? Okay. So Santa Priya asked, if your root chakra is unbalanced, does that mean you're struggling to exist in 3D, and can you access the other dimensions? Everybody's root chakra is unbalanced, Santa Priya. I mean, in my experience, very few people have really balanced and aligned chakras. Most of us are out of balance at some point or another. So if you hold yourself to this really high standard of like, I got to be balanced all the time, remember, even nature is not balanced all the time. My chakras are a little out of whack today because I haven't had enough time between everything at SG and everything at home and family and holidays and everything else. Like, I just haven't had enough time to take care of myself in the last week or two. I plan to get back into that next week when I have a little bit of downtime. Okay, so, and Tina Marie, you might think about the chakras differently. This is the way I was taught, so to see if it resonates with you, okay? And if you want to think about them differently, you can use whatever cosmology or framework that resonates with you. I'm glad that was reassuring for you, Santa Priya, because it's true. Like, you can't walk around holding yourself to this, like, this unachievable standard of a balance and alignment. It's not human. One day, when you lose this body container and you are just in pure spirit, then I have very high expectations of you. Once you're not in a body anymore, right? I do find time for myself, but I haven't in the last 2 weeks. I mean, usually I put myself 3rd or 4th. The last 2 weeks I've been like 12th on my list, which basically means I haven't gotten anything. But I'm going to start fixing that next week. Okay. It is kind of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So, and a lot of our children are still stuck at root chakra stuff. So keep in mind, try to think about not only you as I'm kind of walking you through this, but maybe think about your children, your nieces, nephews, godchildren, and where they might be sitting on this scale, okay? And then it goes up from there. So 4D, in the 3rd dimension, we have time and we have space, right? I'm in this room and it's 4:40 p.m. In 4D and 5D, time and space get really funky, okay? So generally speaking, in 4D, you don't have time. And that's the first hint for you and for me, right? And yes, Chelzone, you can totally do Journey if you don't feel good. And you'll feel better afterward. So please do the Journey, especially if you have a cold, okay? In 4D, one of the ways that you know that you're ascending, because people have asked me, I think I'm kind of going 4D, but how will I know? You lose track of time. You also find that you start to develop the capacity to slow time down or to speed time up. And you can start playing with this in fun ways. I do it when I'm getting ready sometimes. Like, I'll say I have 15 minutes to get ready, but I need half an hour. So can I make this 15 minutes into 30 minutes? Or I'm somewhere where I don't want to be. Can I make this half an hour feel like 5 minutes? And so I play with time. Cecilia's like, what is time? So if you start noticing that you're able to play with time, fudge time, speed time up, slow time down, if you're doing all of that, then you're already in kind of a 4D environment, okay? What you have to know about the other dimensions, and this is really important, not just for tonight's meditation, but like for your metaphysical journey in general. And I really wish someone would have told me this about 15 years ago. So I'm telling you this now. The dimensions are all here. It's not like when you go to the 12th dimension, you're going to be somewhere vastly different. I mean, you are, but you're not. Because all time and all space and all history and all other times are happening right where you are right now. It's all around you. The reason you can't see it is because it's vibrating a lot faster than you are. You can only see things that are vibrating as slow as you are. In order to have a body, a meat suit, you know what I mean? In order to have a body and be sitting in a chair and like touching crystals, your vibration has to be really slow, right? Can you be conscious in the higher dimensions? Yes. You can. And that's a lot of what people experience with plant medicine, right? I mean, you are outside of time and space, but you still are in a room and you know where you are and you know who you are, you know what your name is, right? So that's getting you outside of 4th and 5th dimension into 6th and beyond. So the 6th dimension, 5th dimension is solar plexus, 6th dimension is heart, and then it goes 7 is throat, 8 is third eye, 9th is the crown, 10th dimension is soul star. And then it starts to split and divide and move into the 11th, 12th, and onward from there. And depending on who you ask, some people are like, no, there's only 12 dimensions. You can get little glimpses out of the... Is glimpses a word? You can get a glimpse? Glimpses? Glimpses. I'm going to make it up. You can get glimpses out of the corner of your eye. Your peripheral vision is actually a superpower. Did you know that? Like when you see things moving in your peripheral... That is you moving out of 3D. It's a depth perception thing. So you get these little, like, just, what was that? Right? That's you moving out of a dimensional reality. I like that. Donna calls it a bleed through. I think that's really true. So, Ursula, the dimensions resonate with your chakras. And the most basic level of existence on this planet is 3D. And that's why, that's the root chakra. That's survival instincts. That's me first. That's 3D thinking. So that's why I was talking about the root chakra. As you expand into your other chakras and out of 3D, you start to experience multiple levels of dimensional awareness. Awareness of yourself as a powerful person, awareness of your capacity for love, awareness of your truth, awareness of your wisdom, awareness of your connection to the divine and all that is. And as you expand your conscious awareness and open your chakras, you begin to connect to multiple dimensions of awareness as well. And those dimensions, it's not like an escalator. It's not like the 12th dimension is the highest possible dimension. They're all happening all around you. Does that make sense? So if I was to peel back the veil for you right now and you were to look around the room that you're in, what a show you'd see. There's so much happening around you right now, but most of it is not dense. So you can't see it. You can't see spirit beings, you can't see God, you can't see... Do you know what I mean? Because it's vibrating at too high a frequency. Things have to be dense and heavy in order for you to be able to see them as a human being. That's right. So source energy, if you're just joining now, I'm teaching you a little bit about dimensional awareness because in the sound bath, what my spirit guide said is they're going to move you through your chakra system and out of your body tonight, past the 10th dimension, which is the soul star chakra, through the 11th dimension and into the 12th dimension, which is the angelic dimensions, and then onto the 13th and 14th dimensions, which are thought to be the starseed dimensions, and then out beyond that, because there are dozens, if not hundreds, of other dimensions beyond that dimension of reality. You ready for this? I didn't design this. If you don't like it, I don't take any responsibility. I blame my spirit guides. They're super excited about it for you. Oh, I like that. Kit Kat said, I just got my throat and third eye and crown opened, right? Oh, yeah. Well, and that's what's fun. You know, I'm blessed because I do plant medicine ceremony at home. So I've seen my whole house outside of 3, 4, and 5D. And, I mean, it's a flippin' zoo in there. You know, I mean, the walls tell stories and the ceiling becomes the ocean. And I mean, it's just like when you when you see your spaces absent the veil, it's amazing what happens. There's in my living room when I'm on plant medicine, the windows turn into scrolls, and it's scrolling. There's one window that's all katakana, Japanese characters. I can't read katakana, but I know what it is. And there's one window in my house that when I'm in a different dimensional reality, it scrolls these Japanese characters. I don't know why. But if you were in my house right now, you'd be like, that's just a window. And the other windows don't do that. So why does that one do it, right? It's pretty intense. Oh yeah, no, and I just watch it. I mean, and I can see the brush strokes of the characters, like, and then they're just like, it goes down, and then the next sheet comes, and it's just all these, and I can see the brush strokes just happening. I wish I read Japanese, right? That's an really interesting question. Amy asked, when we have an orgasm, are we experiencing 4D? Have you ever had an orgasm? Have you ever had an orgasm where you kind of left your body for a minute? Like where you kind of had a flash that you were somewhere else? Because I've had that. Remember that when you have an orgasm, you stop breathing. That's why they call it le petit mort in French, which means the little death. That's how you say orgasm in French, right? And that's because you literally do die for just a second when you have an orgasm. It's really true. So the French are so wise, right, to call it that. So anyway, those are kind of experiences that we've all had before. The most interesting story, and I was at, I think it was either a Passover, it was a Passover Seder, I think. And I was there, and one of the guests who was there, it was my first time meeting her. And I ended up sitting next to her, and she was like, I'm so glad I get to meet you. I've heard about all you do, and I have to tell you this story that happened to me. And this woman is in her 60s, I think. She might be in her 70s. And this story happened to her when she was in her 20s or in her 30s. And so she had gone to, I think it was France. It was either France or Italy, but I'm pretty sure it was in France. And she had gone to a cathedral, and she was just touring, you know, like a tourist does. And she said there were lots of tourists around. And she said, you know, Athena, I'm, you know, a very religious person, right? Very, very, you know, she's Jewish and really committed to her faith. But she said, I walked out of this cathedral. This is a Jewish person, right? So it just shows you, like, all paths lead to the same place. And she said, I was walking out of the cathedral, and there was a handrail. And she said, I looked around, and I could see, I think it was by the River Seine or whatever. She's like, I looked around, and I saw everything. And then I put my hand on the handrail. And she's like, I had nothing to drink. I was traveling. I was very tired, but I was very aware of what was happening. She said, I put my hand on that handrail, and she's like, scene change. I'm now in another century. She's like, all of a sudden there are people dressed in these gowns, and everybody I came with is gone. And I look around, and it's like 200, 300 years ago. And she said, they're all in period clothing. And she said, I take my hand off of the rail, and I'm back. I put my hand back on the rail, it happens again. And I said, yeah, I mean, she was able to tessera out of 3D into 4D, right? Tessera in Greek means 4. So that's where tessering and tesseract come from, that wrinkle in time, because tessera means 4. That the tessera is the 4th dimension, right? So she said that handrail is a portal. And she's like, I can tell you which cathedral it was and where it was. She said, I'll never forget as long as I live. But she's like, I kept doing it because I was like, no shit. Looking around. And she's like, I didn't want to tell a lot of people because you sound like you're nuts, right? Like, but this is a very conservative lady. Okay, this isn't like purple-haired sage goddess people. She was very legit. Not that we're not legit, but like, somebody who would never talk about anything like this. She was like, I couldn't wait to get here and tell you the story because I knew you would understand. And I'm like, totally, right? It's a cathedral in France. I'll find out where it was, right? And she's like, now I'd be afraid to go back and touch it again because now I don't know what I opened there. And I'm like, well, it's interesting. That's right. So my point in telling you this whole story is you live in multiple dimensions right now. And the reason that you can't see them is probably because you're too afraid. Spirit is not going to freak you out. Spirit knows what your boundary is and isn't going to cross it. I've learned that. They know what's too much for you. Then they don't push you past it, even when you want to, because they're not going to do that. You have to be able to live this life. And too much information, if they were to pull that curtain back and show you too much, might be hard for you to keep doing this, if you really knew. But you should trust it enough. You should trust it enough to trust that through meditation, you certainly can access these other dimensions of awareness. And what it means is, now I'll freak you out even more. Right? You can ask for it, but they only give you what you're ready for because they know more than even what you say. They know what you're actually ready for. Here's another thing for you to think about. I believe that you are right now living out all of your possible life choices. Married to other partners, not married at all, lifetimes paths without kids, paths with kids, all at the same time right now. There are multiple yous, in my experience, living out multiple life paths all at the same time. That's what deja vu is, right? Again, it's like a glimpse. It's a hit. It's like, oh my God, that's happening, or I've had that, or And that's why when you meet people, it's like, oh, nice to meet you. And then in some other dimension, you're married to them. Or you're like, whatever happened to that guy? I haven't seen him since I was 25. And it's like, in another dimension, you see him every day. You live with him, right? Very interesting. That's right. Gypsy Jen Sendan says, no wonder I don't know where I am. No wonder we feel crazy half the time. Okay, now I'm going to move my candle strategically out of place. Let me see. Do you guys have any questions before we begin our journey together? It's timeline jumping. That's right, Teresa. And so what it also means is if you've lost someone that you love, they're not lost. This brings a lot of comfort to people. You can move around that timeline. And that's why when loved ones come back in dreams, it's like, oh my God, it was like she was still alive. Yeah. She didn't go all that far. You just can't see her now because she's vibrating too rapidly. And she's not dense enough. He's not dense enough for you to be able to see anymore. Doesn't mean they're not there. It's very 3D to think that, right? No, well, Sharon, that's the thing. So that's a great question from Sharon Gissel. I don't have all the answers, obviously. These are the questions I wish I could ask Dolores Cannon. But she said, when you get ready to pass in one dimension, do you pass in all dimensions? I don't think so. That's what I think is probably the biggest fucking surprise. Surprise! You're not done. Right? I don't know. It's interesting. Yes, so it can mean, so not necessarily. Wild Scarlet asked, does that mean when you see a ghost, they are heavy? No, it means when you see a ghost, you are not. Those who can see and hear and sense and feel are moving out of 3D. That's how you know. If you have a psychic gift, it's because you are not dense. And that's why I'm telling you guys, the more you cultivate, the more you're going to see and feel and sense and hear because you become lighter. And then you have to work to ground yourself, because half the time I'm like, am I still on this planet? Like, I'm here, right? And sometimes that's why I go outside or take my shoes off or cook a meal or have sex. It's like I want to be reminded that I'm here, because sometimes I feel like I'm like, That's right. So if you can feel them, you are existing in a different dimension at the same time that you're here. another really interesting meditation, I'm just going to tell you about it, but like try it with me for a minute, see if you can feel it. Okay, this is a fun way to play with being here but not here. You ready? So I live like near the cliffs here in Southern California, and it's a sheer drop. But it's this really empowering feeling to go to the cliff there, because you're just, it's the South Bay of Los Angeles, and it's just the Pacific Ocean. And so one of the best visualizations for me is I imagine that I'm standing at the end of the cliff, right at the very edge of the cliff. I can feel the wind coming over me, and I stretch my arms out to the sides, and I imagine taking a couple of deep breaths, and then on an inhale, I imagine lifting up and soaring off that cliff. And if you can imagine that for a minute, imagine your body's still on the edge of that cliff, but your spirit is soaring. And I want you to imagine lifting your wings up and just shooting out over the water, letting your spirit leave the body and extend and expand out over the water. And feel the wind coming towards you. And you might even be able to glance down and see the waves crashing underneath you, and then see the expanse of the ocean out in front of you. And what I can do is start to visualize in my mind even the land masses that I'm passing and the waves coming underneath me. And then eventually I can start to feel less land and just more open water, because after you leave the South Bay of LA, there's nothing but water until you hit the Hawaiian Island chain, which is a lot far away. So I just imagine just flying out over the ocean and just watching the waves and watching the light turn on the waves as the sun moves in the sky, and feeling the wind over me and turning my head to side and seeing the differences in the light and the waves. And this is how you start to feel your spirit separate from your body. And it's a very powerful meditation, because you can literally start to see what's around you, but you're not, that's your soul, that's not your body, right? And then you can start to ask yourself, what other energies do I sense around me as I'm flying and floating? Are there birds around you? Are there other spirits flying adjacent to you, right? And then you can imagine going back and returning to your body and watching your spirit sort of condense into your physical form. It's a really powerful meditation, one that I love. Doesn't it feel good? And when you're stressed, I will tell you, use that little meditation. Say, okay, I'm going to the cliff. I'm going with Athena. I'm going to go stand there. Inhale and up and out. Bye. And take off. And just feel yourself float, that you're just above the waves, and you can hear the water beneath you, and you can see the waves and the sunshine on the edges of the waves, and you can hear the seagulls, and maybe you can see a dolphin in and out of the water, and it's amazing how real it can become. Go to the cliff. That's right. It's a really easy way to fall asleep too. It's like, I can't sleep. Go to the cliff. Yeah, it's really true. I'm so glad. So yeah, these little tips and tricks for you to try. Now, I'm going to get my bowls up, so give me just a second. Make sure I have enough room here. Arranging and rearranging. Okay, so this is let me bring my camera down for you a little bit so that you can see what I'm doing. This is a Soul Star bowl, Crown Chakra bowl. So these bowls are going to take us through the 9th dimension, and then into the 10th dimension, and then the last bowl I'm going to play for you, which is attuned to 432 megahertz, is going to take us through that final dimensional gateway and back to your star system of origin. Okay, so what I want you to do first with me is I want you to begin to drop into the space Yeah, you can totally listen but not have your eyes closed. You can work this medicine of this journey any way you would like. Just want to make sure that you kind of know what the plan is. I'm going to take everything visual out of the way so you don't get distracted by all my ish. Okay, so what I want you to imagine, you can close your eyes if you want, or you can keep your eyes open. What I want you to imagine is that you begin in your root chakra. Ursula's liking my hair. I want you to bring your full attention to your root chakra. And you may have signed up to start right away. And I want to welcome you and say that I'm happy that you're here. And stay with us. If you're here, girl, you're meant to be here. So I want you to bring all of your attention and focus to your root chakra right now, which is right between your hips. And so I want you to bring your full attention right to that root chakra. Your root chakra is the slowest moving of your energetic discs in your field. It's the biggest disc, it's the slowest moving, and it governs, again, survival. It governs your basic needs, food, clothing, shelter, mostly food and shelter. Clothing isn't really a basic need. I'm going to open a circle in just a minute, Karen Brown, but I just want to get you ready for the process first. I want you to bring your attention to your root chakra, and I want you to take 3 deep breaths right there. That's one. And then with each subsequent breath, I want you to try to make the inhale deeper and the exhale deeper. Oh, that's beautiful, Cindy. And then the last big inhale and exhale here. And so I want you to really be anchored here, because I want you to experience the journey as an ascension. And not just an ascension out of your body, but an ascension through your body. So when we begin the journey, I'm going to ask the Buddha to meet us here at the root. And I'll walk you through all of everything that we're doing there when we begin, but I just want you to fully bring your attention there before we start so that you're really anchored in that moment. Does anybody have any questions about where your root chakra is or how to get anchored in? Because that's going to give us a really strong place to return to at the end of our journey experience together. Are you guys good? Okay. So I'm going to call our guardians of the sacred gateways to come and be with us and attend to us in this ceremony together. And so we're going to begin by speaking to the guardians of the Eastern Gateway this evening. So grateful for the guardians of the East, for the Buddha himself, who for me always represents the energy of the East, which is freedom, connection. And Michelle, to get anchored in, all you have to do is just visualize that root chakra. Just visualize it. You can visualize it as a red disc. You can put your hand over the area where your root chakra is. You don't have to put your hand right in there because it'll get weird, but generally down there. Yes, and it is recorded, so you can always watch the beginning of this later. So to anchor in, you just have to bring your attention to that root chakra. Because where your attention is, that's where your energy is. And so I just want to make sure that we begin there so we're all grounded and very connected in that place. Oh, that's beautiful. Tammy was saying that her mom used to tell her to align her chakras, and she was told to do it in the morning, and she's forgotten, so she's remembering now. I really love that. Okay. And so, Guardians of the East, we welcome you into our ceremony space this evening with so much love and gratitude. We thank you for opening this doorway for us. Our last journey together of 2019 as a Soul Shift community. So grateful for all of the journeys of this year, but this one in particular, which is going to take us from our pelvic floor all the way to the stars tonight. And so Guardians of the East, thank you for this powerful new opening, this new gateway, this new direction, this new spaciousness. these sacred reminders to return to the core of our practice. Thank you for our breath. Thank you for the time and the connection that we have to each other. We're so grateful. We welcome you. And guardians of the South, we welcome you this evening for energies of playfulness and curiosity, strength and courage and power and passion. We welcome you in to help stir the inner cauldron for us as we head into the season of winter here in the Northern Hemisphere. Help to keep that inner fire burning all year long. Guardians of the South, we welcome you with gratitude. And Guardians of the West, we thank you for emotional healing that will happen tonight, reprogramming of old belief systems, attunement to a newer, higher frequency of light. We're thankful for nurturing in the West, prosperity in the West. We welcome you with gratitude. Guardians of the North, we welcome you in tonight. I think of Buddha energy in the North, slow, steady, patient wisdom. There's a patience in the North that never runs out. You're never too much in the North. You're never too hard. You're never too needy in the North. You're always right on time, right where you need to be. So we want to thank the Guardians of the North for your steady, soft, and gentle presence in our lives, for helping us to feel that connection to our ancestors, to deep and embodied wisdom, and to the season of winter in general, which is a northern season. It reminds us of hibernation and the act of going within. Remember, all of nature begins to hibernate now. So if you're feeling like you want to stay home and you want to curl up with blankets and you don't want to go outside, that's very normal. And maybe you can find some tender ways to honor that. You know, some days staying inside and being comfy and cozy and warm is the medicine, and that's very much the medicine of the North. And so we thank you for this season. We thank you for colder weather, which invites us indoors and inward to find peace. We thank you for quiet moments. We thank you for Yuletide medicine this weekend. We welcome you with gratitude. And to the guardians of the vertical realm, the guardians of the upper world, we're excited to greet you this evening in those upper dimensions of conscious reality. We ask you to help us dissolve the layers between us and you tonight. Help us to sense you, feel you, smell you, hear you, to understand you, to feel the connection to you. Guardians of the upper realm, the angelic realms, the stars, star gateways, star dimensions. We welcome you with gratitude. Guardians of the middle world, the present moment, guardians of the collective community, we thank you for each other. We thank you for our connections, for our community, for this here and now moment, our ability to journey together virtually, which still after all these years is a miracle to me that we can have these experiences together. We give thanks for our day-to-day, for our current life, for our present life, with all of its gifts and challenges. We embrace it. We're grateful for it. Help us to move through these days of our lives with grace and gratitude. We welcome in the guardians of the middle world and guardians of the lower world. We thank you for holding our feet, steadying us, helping us to walk gently on this earth, to live gently in alignment with the Buddha's teaching. We thank you for reminding us that we have many sources of energy as we walk this human pathway. We have ley lines and vortex points on our planet that are constantly beaming information and energy to us. Thank you for keeping us grounded and nurtured, fed with beautiful Mama Gaia's plants and fruits and vegetables and all things from this planet that nourish us within and without. We give thanks for all living beings and creatures in the lower realm, the animals that walk on the land, that swim in the oceans. We give thanks for the animals within the earth, the creatures, the creepy crawlies, all who are great teachers for us. And we give thanks to the guardians of the lower realm and welcome them with gratitude too. And with that, our beautiful circle is open. I'm so glad that you're here. Oh, so it is It's a beautiful container that is ready for us this evening, and I'm very glad that you are here. I'm glad that you're here, Anne, and that you found us, and Stephanie. So wonderful to see you. Okay, so I'm going to begin playing the bowls, and what I want you to allow as I begin, especially with this very high frequency of our crown chakra bowl, is I want you to invite the essence of the Buddha in, the energy of the Buddha, to be present to you this evening. And Buddha, we approach you with such reverence and gratitude this evening. We honor you as a being of light, an avatar of source consciousness and teachings of spirit that remind us that while all humans suffer, that is one of the noble truths, there is a pathway out of our suffering. And so tonight's journey is for you to find the pathway to peace. That's our entire journey tonight. And that pathway to peace is going to take you from your root chakra, past that survival center tonight, to your sacral chakra, which is your center of passion and creativity. And then it's going to move you past through your solar plexus and your personal desires and your personal will, what you create in this lifetime. And then it's going to anchor all of that in your heart space as I play these bowls. And while I'm bathing you in sound, I'm not going to be talking, so that's why I'm setting you up now, so that you know kind of what the pathway is, as my spirit guides have led me tonight. And once you anchor all of this medicine in the sixth dimension in your heart, you're going to bring it to your throat chakra, where you'll activate your voice. You might feel like singing, you might feel like talking when the energy gets there. That's okay, honor that. It's okay to sing, it's okay to hum. And then as we move past your throat chakra to your third eye chakra, that's when some of your inner knowing is going to be activated. And so we ask the Buddha this evening to reveal wisdom to you, truth to you. What do you need to know about your path in order to move from suffering to peace and enlightenment? That is the ultimate question for you tonight. Moving from suffering to peace and enlightenment. Once we get to the crown chakra, that's when Buddha's energy will expand, guide you from the crown chakra to the soul star chakra, and then past the soul star chakra, which will take you to the angelic gateways, and then ultimately to the star gateways. And so the climax of your journey, really the apex of your journey tonight, if you desire it, is a return to your star system of origin. And so if you would like to return to that star system, please set that intention now and give the Buddha permission to take you home this evening. Are you longing to go home to your star system? And if so, are you willing to give permission for the Buddha to guide you there? And so if you're ready, let's begin. Feeling your chakras opening one by one and not resisting, just allowing them to open, soften, expand, connect and align to each other. Just noticing where you are right now, which dimension you might be floating through. If you feel yourself floating above your body, outside of your body, let that be. Your body will be there waiting for you. Now I want you to begin to ask yourself, from this elevated dimensional place, this place of softness and curiosity and floating above, I want you to ask yourself, from this place, what does peace look like for you? If you could describe it or define it. You don't have to tell me or comment. I want you just to really be focusing on your thoughts and your feelings and your vibration. I want you to bring your attention to peace. What does peace feel like for you? What does peace look like for you? What does peace offer to you? What does peace represent for you? And how does peace feel in your body when you're in this state of peace? How do your muscles feel? If you can track your body, where do you sense the most ease, the most comfort in your body when you bring your attention to this peace? And is there a time in your life that comes up for you in this space of peace? And you can call upon the Buddha to guide you to a time in your life where you may have already experienced this embodiment of peace, and help you track back to that time. Call some of that energy into the present moment for you. Or maybe I'm feeling like some of you are being guided to past lives where you experienced deep peace. And where were you in that life or those lives? Who were you? Where were you? What were you doing? Maybe you're being called to a lifetime where you created peace for others. Or you embodied peace, or you manifested peace. And I want you to imagine every cell in your body opening to receive this peace at this time. Every cell in your body opening to receive this peace, this alignment, this beauty. Every cell in your head, every cell in your chest, every cell in your heart. Every cell in your arms and your legs, your fingers and your toes. Every cell in your digestive system. imagine every cell opening and receiving and connecting and aligning. Any energies that are out of alignment become healed and whole in this moment. And notice, if you can, from this place, how it becomes challenging almost to feel pain or discomfort or sadness. When your vibration increases, it's hard to even access some of those lower vibrational emotions. Right now your body is just receiving every possible attunement and alignment to perfect health. Every cell of your heart healing from past trauma and sadness. Every cell of your reproductive systems healed, whole, and well. And if you have areas of discomfort in your body, you can ask the Buddha to help guide this frequency to those places, to align and attune them to a frequency of health and wholeness and alignment. So you can send this frequency to your back or to your shoulders, to your hips, to your legs, to your wrists and your arms, to your head, to your neck, to your feet and your ankles. Just letting the vibration bathe every cell in your body. Replace all forms of suffering in your body with divine healing peace. So now the last bowl that I was told to play for you is a bowl that grounds this energy in. It's a deeper frequency. It's a frequency that's more attuned to the realms above the 11th dimension. To me, this bowl is like the sound of the universe breathing. And so, using this frequency, we move beyond all of the dimensions that we experienced in that part of the meditation, even past the realms of the angels, out into the star systems themselves. And so this is your chance now, if you wish to return home tonight to your star system, your star origin. This is the moment for you to connect to those outer realm energies. And so for me, this is a return to Arcturus. This is a return to your star family, your soul family, and to the beings and the energies that know you better than anyone or anything on this planet at this time. And so with a quiet mind and a healed body, we move beyond outward to connect with place where we began. And Buddha, we ask for your guidance as we cross these star thresholds to return home this evening. We ask that you activate this star wisdom within us, these sacred gifts from our star beginnings, our star origins, our sacred wisdom that we've carried throughout every lifetime we've ever had on this planet. And help us learn how to begin to trust this great knowing. Because beyond intuition, this is the ultimate source of your gifts. So this is a time when you can ask, what is it you would like to know about your star origins, and what gifts would you like to activate this evening? Gifts of wisdom, gifts of foresight, gifts of healing, transcendence, gifts of healing from a lineage of pain or suffering. What is it that your star origins can offer to you to enhance your human experience in this lifetime? Is it your capacity to serve others? Is it your capacity to lead others? Is it your capacity to embody unconditional love, forgiveness? Is it your capacity to shepherd this planet and everyone who is alive today through our ascension process, to be a good elder, a good steward of this planet? And so you can call upon these energies to be activated for you now. With gratitude and humility, we call upon our colleagues and our beloveds and our respective star systems to connect with us now and to help us expand and receive and activate our star gifts for greater peace, healing, wellness, joy, abundance in our human life. Help us to embody, to embrace, to experience. Help us to teach by example. Help us to radiate this frequency in all places where it's needed. And help us to find our kindred so that we have sources of support and beauty and encouragement, and we were reminded that we're never alone, even though we are far from home. And together we say, Amen Aho, and so it is. Feeling your soul fly through the cosmos now. You might even star jump a little bit, see if you can find and embrace the other star systems, locating and connecting with brothers and sisters who can also be good guides and companions and teachers to you in this dimension, in this space, and in this time. Even if they come from other star gateways and star dimensions, they can still be very good stewards and guides to you. They have other gifts that ninth dimension, through the third eye and the throat, centering back down to your heart space and then into your solar plexus, to the sacral, and then back down to the root, which brings you and anchors you back in this here and now space, in your body, in the room where you're sitting or laying down. And you can wiggle your fingers and your toes. And bring your attention to your breath. Giving thanks to the Buddha for being such a beautiful guide this evening. It felt like ascending a really grand staircase for me, and then flying through the stars this evening, seeing the beautiful Milky Way, and such a beautiful and a gracious opportunity to remember how small we are. Our lives start to feel so big and overwhelming, and sometimes it's nice to remember that we live in a grand universe. But we are one tiny corner of it. A very powerful corner, though. There's no one like you in the entire universe. Never has been and never will be. And so while you remember how small you are and keep your problems in perspective, you need to also remember how important you are. And there is literally no one else on this planet who can ever take your place, can never do quite what you do the way you do it. And I think the Buddha's teaching reminds us that that in itself should alleviate our suffering. So now if you have your star system tools, I've got mine, you can take a moment to anoint your forehead, your third eye for what you know, your wrists for what you do, and your ankles for where you go. And you can hold your crystal and light your candle if you would like. If you don't have your tools, you can still activate the energies. I'm just activating them with you in case you want to. See my little candle there? Okay. So first, through the screen, I am going to activate your tools. So through this cylinder of light, calling in energies from the 12th dimension, 11th dimension, 10th, 9th, 8th, 7th, 6th, 5th, 4th, and 3rd. I activate your starseed tools to connect you to your family of origin tonight. And each time you work with these tools, this crystal, this candle, this perfume, my intention and the intention of these tools is that you will feel a strong and powerful connection to the place from which you came and to which you will one day return. May these tools provide you wisdom and power and be a constant source of support on your journey. Amen aho, and so it is. Amen aho, and so it is. Oh, I'm so glad you that last bowl. Did you feel that last bowl? I mean, I hope you felt all the bowls, but this one in particular, it's had a really incredible resonance to it. This is one of my favorite bowls, and I don't know that I've played this for you for a journey before. I don't think I have. This one was really good, wasn't it? Could you really feel? And it was so interesting because I wasn't going to play this bowl until I was in meditation this afternoon. And my spirit guides, because I had the other two bowls out, and my spirit guides are like, no, and then you're going to put those away, and then you're going to get this other one out. And I was like, this is going to be a lot to do. I'm really glad. It was worth it. Did you feel the peace from it? I'm flying too, and I led you through the journey. Usually it's hard to lead a journey and also have a journey. You know, usually it's one or the other. I'm so glad you enjoyed it. The last bowl is 432, baby. It's the God frequency. Oh, yep. Kit Kat was saying numbers, which was fascinating because she's saying the repeating sevens and the repeating threes, which is Trinity energy and cyclical energy. 7 is the number of completed cycles, and 3 is the number of the Trinity, right? So you're seeing those numbers replicating. That's very interesting. I usually see 3s in December around Christ consciousness because it's the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. So that didn't surprise me, but I think it's very cool that you saw that. Oh, that's so beautiful, you guys. Sylvie's cat came around and touched her head and her face. Okay, Wes was holding phenakite during this. That must have been a little bit mind-blowing. I mean, phenakite's one of the highest vibrational crystals on the planet at this time, as you know. So for you to be working with phenakite during a sound bath had to have taken it to the whole next level. Yeah, I agree with you, Teresa Jolly. She said it's like planetary peace. Oh, I love that. Andrew's dog journeyed with him, and he had an intense journey. Isn't that beautiful? Wild Scarlet saw a glimpse of a past life for the first time. Look at that. Ooh, Michelle was seeing 5s. Is it Diane's dogs passed out? I love that. Dogs are so wise, and they're so attuned. Cats are too, but dogs in particular, dogs really can journey with us. In fact, I journeyed for a long time with a couple at their home, and their dog was a journey dog. Their dog would come around and check on you during journey and lay next to you if you were having a rough journey. Dogs are just, if I ever led journeys publicly with people, I would get a dog just for that purpose, because they're such good companions during journey space. And I can tell you that those are some of my favorite journeys because of that incredible journey dog. So, I mean, I'm a dog person anyway, but I always felt so blessed when she would come over and lay next to me. I was like, ooh, I get Brandy time. Aw, it's so beautiful. Heidi's dog, Ivy, came over and nuzzled. Right? So sweet. Teresa used her quartz chumpies. That's the other thing. When you start incorporating those really high vibrational tools into this work, it takes the whole thing to the next level. So phenakite, chumpies, wands that you may have, it just adds to the level of the frequency, right? Ooh. Well, I believe that's true. Tammy, I believe that's really true. And Daimichi had Merkaba crystals. That's another really sacred, high vibrational tool that's going to enhance the experience. So I'm really glad to see you guys incorporating those tools. Nicole said she was an infant in the Buddha's arms. Isn't that beautiful? Hey, MJ, thank you for that. Oh, I love that so much, you guys. It's really beautiful for me to be able to read your comments and your experiences too, because I love to know what you're seeing and what you're experiencing when we're flying together. So beautiful. Yeah, well, I mean, sex is a portal. I mean, having sex with someone is allowing them access to your field, right? It's true. there aren't a lot of ways that we can allow someone to see with our eyes, you know, in this dimension. And so that's why sexual relationships are so powerful, right? It's really, really powerful. Harps are always signs of angels, Donatown. I'm not too surprised. We had a new ring designed for SG with angel wings with a seraphonite stone in it, and I was wearing that tonight because I just got my sample in the mail today, and I started seeing angels. Like right when I started playing this bowl, I saw these wings open. They look like the wings on the side of this ring, and then sort of the wings were moving. And they weren't, in my vision, they weren't connected to a being. I could just see the wings going up and down. But we passed through the angelic gateway on the way to the star gateways. You pass the angelic dimension. So I'm not surprised that you sort of felt angelic presence or angelic energy, or seeing the threes, which again could be a sign of angels or the Holy Trinity. Did it? Yeah, Hydra Nikki said it got cold and she felt angels too. I love that. And then butterflies are very high vibrational creatures too. You want to see the ring? I don't want you to get distracted. I don't have it for you right now. It's just a little sample, but there's actually a really long story that goes with this wing ring. Isn't that pretty? Anyway, more on that to come. Gypsy Jen Zenden said the angelic dimensions were glowing yellow. Isn't that beautiful? Aw, I adore it too, Nicole. I'm really glad that you guys are here tonight. You know, the angels are always all around, but they do like to be called upon and acknowledged, in my experience. Isn't that pretty? You can thank Brooklyn for this ring. I'll tell you the full story when I have it to give to you. I don't right now, but this was a vision for her from Journey. And so she said, what do you think about me designing this? And she walked me through the design, and I think it's absolutely beautiful. So the angel wing has come to become she has a necklace with the angel wing. Ever since she saw it in Journey, she's been kind of designing pieces with the angel wings, and I find them really comforting. So yeah, you have Brooklyn to thank for that. That was her original design. Wasn't it fun? So Sylvia said she loved hopping around the stars. I had a point, it was only about 30 seconds, but where I literally felt like my soul went, like I went from being in kind of a contained space to literally spinning off and flying through the stars. Did any of you have an experience like that? I've never quite had that experience in a sound journey before. But when I started to play this bowl, about a few minutes in, I really felt, it was like a zoom. All of a sudden I was flying around. Did you feel that too? I haven't had that experience before. So, and you were fast too? It makes me feel better. Did you see me there? I was like, woo, I almost got dizzy. And I'm just sitting here playing the bowls, but I could just, it was like, I could feel air around me as I was zipping and zooming through. Right when I changed the bowls, right? I'm telling you, there's something to it. There's something to it. I always get cold after Journey, Tammy. If you ever journey with me in person, you'll see that I pack blankets and a sheepskin and all kinds of stuff because I get freezing during Journey. So I have learned to always have, I'm hot right now, but I'll be cold inside of half an hour. So I've learned to always have blankets or a shawl or something like that I can wrap up in just to keep yourself nice and warm, because my hands and my legs, remember, your body's releasing a lot of energy during Journey. So it tends to create coldness in the body and then tingling in the hands and feet. So that's really, really... Yeah, I tend to not have a lot of clothes on, but then a lot of blankets. Because your body's releasing energy, Jen Flanagan. It's just a byproduct of the release of stored energy. Your body gets cold. First it gets really hot, and then it gets cold, and then you might get hot again. But the radical kind of shifts in temperature is pretty normal. Yeah. Well, I'm so glad you guys enjoyed that. Okay, so if you're ready, I'm going to extinguish my Arcturian candle and then go home and put it on my altar, because I'm going to be doing some dedicated journeys working with the Arcturian Council. I would invite you to continue working with your star guides as well, because they want to make contact with us right now. And I'm finding it easier than ever to connect with them and to communicate with them. I love that so much. I'm so glad you guys enjoyed it too. All right, I'm extinguishing my Buddha candle. it smells so good. Did you love the smell of that candle this month? It's one of my favorites. The Venus candle was another one of my favorites. Or the Aphrodite candle was one of my favorites. And then this one. They're all beautiful, but there's just certain ones that the smell of them intoxicates me. I have 2 of them in my bathroom. I'm glad you like it too. So Michelle's feeling less pain. I was having, because I have like a shoulder issue in my rotator cuff that usually really bothers me this time of night, and it's not bothering me. Like I have full movement right now, and I usually don't. At this time of day, it's tight. So, I mean, it's sound heals. When I tell you that sound heals, it's not woo-woo or metaphysical. It is truth. The frequency of sound can really go in and do a lot of physical healing. That's why I had you visualize all your cells opening to receive it, because it makes a huge difference. Huge difference. Do you feel better too, Lindsay Grant? That makes me so happy. And Amy's saying she feels better. Bonnie's feeling better. Tammy, that smoke was coming right at you, huh? I love it. The transformation was your favorite, Bianca. I just like to know which ones you really, really liked. And V Water Dog sinuses drained. That's another sign of huge energy movement. When your sinuses drain, like that's legit. I have sinus issues too sometimes. In fact, everybody I know does. So if you can get your sinuses to drain, that's like our work here is done for this evening. You feeling lighter? Heidi's not as anxious. Yeah, if you have anxiety, I'm bringing crystal healing tools to Sage Goddess this year. So stay tuned, because I'm such a believer. I think it's the final frontier, really, of healing is sound. I think crystals are very powerful. I think oils are very powerful. But when you combine those modalities with sound, you get something else very, very powerful. Okay. So we're going to release our guides and guardians. We want to thank the Buddha for being such a beautiful steward of this energy this evening. We thank you for being our guide this month. We thank you for the beautiful wisdom of your medicine path, for your sacred truths, and for the blessing of your walk upon this earth, which has led us to so much peace and contentment and beauty and simplicity. It's part of what I love about Buddhism, is just the absolute most transcendent simplicity. You know, it reminds you that things don't have to be so complicated. We overcomplicate things, and we really don't need to. So I'm grateful to the Buddha this evening, releasing him tonight as our guide. You know, one of my favorite things to read about and to think about is there's some evidence that Jesus actually traveled to meet the Buddha, right? Have you heard this? Or, you know, or it may have been interdimensional. I mean, we don't really have proof one way or the other, but I like to think that that's true. And that Jesus was actually downloading wisdom from the Buddha. So beautiful to think about our avatars maybe working in unison, right? It makes sense to me. The Jesus that I know would have done that. Because the Jesus that I have come to know in my relationship, in my walk with God, is a very open, very reflective soul essence, right? That would have sought wisdom from others. So I love that idea, right? Doesn't it make your heart burst? Me too, Robin. It really does. And so I want to release the Buddha with so much gratitude. Thank you for blessing us. Thank you for your continued example and presence. Thank you for reminding us that although suffering is not optional, we can choose how we experience suffering, and we can follow a path to simplicity and releasing and allowing that ultimately is the source of freedom from all suffering in our lives. We release you with gratitude. And guardians of the lower world, thank you for anchoring us tonight, for holding us steady while we experience that beautiful journey space together. Thank you for holding us this whole year through our sacred journeys and soul shift, guardians of the lower world. Thank you for teaching us how to plug into these other sources of energy, to expand our own energy field, to stay grounded and connected. We release you with gratitude. And guardians of the middle world, thank you for this time with my brothers and my sisters. Thank you for the ability to share sacred space together, to enjoy these beautiful tools, to have these experiences together. And we release the guardians of the middle world with gratitude. And the guardians of the upper world, what a beautiful chance to be with you this evening. the guardians of the angelic gateways, the star gateways. We're so grateful to be able to fly with you and embrace you and connect with you, and then bring your wisdom and your beauty and your enlightenment back into our human lives with the intention of blessing and healing and supporting each other. We release you with gratitude. And guardians of the north, wise teachers, grandfather medicine, spirit guides in the north who keep us safe and also are so patient and gentle with us while we learn and we grow. Thank you for the peace that comes from the north. Thank you for this hibernation period. Thank you for this time to reflect and to just be and to seek comfort and connection with each other. Thank you for this season of Christ consciousness and our ability to experience a deeper level of compassionate grace. Thank you for teaching us how to embody grace and how to share it with others in our life to be a good example of what this means. We release you with gratitude. And guardians of the West, thank you for constantly renewing us, healing us, supporting us, nourishing us. We're so grateful for your presence and your wisdom. Thank you for that beautiful maternal energy. Thank you for helping to heal our hearts around the holidays. This is a difficult time for many people. Thank you for holding our hearts while we do this sacred work of our lives. We release the guardians of the West with gratitude. And guardians of the South, thank you for strengthening us, for inspiring us, for encouraging us. Thank you for helping us to be strong and powerful. Thank you for giving us the energy we need to do our work on this planet at this time. We give thanks and we release you with gratitude. And guardians of the East, as always, thank you for this new season that's upon us. Thank you for a new day each day. Thank you for constant new beginnings. Our readings today, if you saw them, it was all about new beginnings. I mean, every time I pulled the card, it was like new beginnings, new beginnings, new beginnings, right? And so we're thankful, Guardians of the East, for these new beginnings that are already on their way. Thankful for a new decade. Thankful for a new year that's almost upon us. But help us to enjoy Guardians of the East before we turn that page. Help us to enjoy these final moments of 2019. For this year was a new beginning too, and we've walked a really long and beautiful road together. So we release the Guardians of the East with gratitude. And with that, our final soul shift journey of 2019 is complete. Tis complete. Aho. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you guys very much too. I'm so grateful you were here. You know, Jennifer Brennan saw a woman with no top on. It wasn't me, Jennifer. Kidding, not kidding. I really do. I really love you guys. I'm grateful for you. You know, we do really good work together. And I think if you did this journey, you will continue to feel the benefits and the peace that this journey brings. That's my hope for you, my wish for you, is that you'll carry a little bit of this peace in your heart all the way through the rest of the holiday season and into the next year. Becky Bowman's crying. You know, but the best is yet to come, you guys. So I'm going to continue to use my bell next year until... is it April or June? I'm getting you quartz bells as part of your Crystal Masters tools. I can't remember which month it is, though. Once we have our quartz bell, then I'm going to be ringing that bell. But for now, I'm going to be ringing this bell until those come. Ina said that her migraine feels better. I love that so much. I really, really do. I don't have a bell either. I don't have a quartz bell. So I'm super excited about that. I know. Nikki's like, June's my birthday. You get a bell, and you get a bell, and you get a bell. Yeah, so have something to eat. Something, you know, savory and nourishing and grounding. Well, you guys are pretty dope, too. Um, I'm grateful for you, and I really hope that you enjoyed today. So tomorrow is our integration. I've got a lot of your great questions. I'm so excited to be answering all your questions, so don't miss our integration. And then Friday, we have the sabbatical closing ceremony, and we also have the Earth Gateway ceremony to welcome in the new season. And then Saturday, we have Yule, live at 6 p.m. here in the classroom and also online. So it's going to be a lot of me for 3 more days, but then eventually next week you'll get a break. That's right. Keep this energy flowing. Keep sending it to everybody around you. I know. I'm excited about it too. Session 4 is, when is session 4? I don't have my phone here right now. Team SG, can you tell us when session 4 is? Our crafting, of course, we're doing, which is the painting on our selenite. Team SG, if you're there, just let us know when session 4 is. I can hardly keep up, honestly, but you know my struggle with time is real. We'll figure it out. If Team SG might be offline already, but we'll figure out when session 4 is. But it is happening. I just can't tell you right off the top of my head when it is, but it is coming. So is it the 23rd? Okay, cool. So that is Monday. Is that right? Yeah, it's Monday. Then you get a break, kind of. Although I probably will go live either Christmas Eve or Christmas to say hello. I don't like to be away from you for too long. And then I'll be back at work on the 26th, and you'll start seeing more of me then. No, the 22nd is Sunday, because Saturday's the 21st, so Monday's the 23rd. Didn't Christmas come really weirdly soon this year? It was kind of my feeling. Nikki's going to be in Hawaii, you lucky girl. I know, we're going to be meeting during Hanukkah. I'm so excited. That's right. Our graduation is the 23rd, too. I know. And read us a story. I would love that. Maybe I will read you night before Christmas. It's so fun, huh? All right, you guys, I'm going to go take my little one to go shopping for a little while and have some hot cocoa. So have a beautiful rest of your evening, too. It was really wonderful to be with you tonight. I'm really glad you were here. I'm glad you enjoyed the journey. You have the recording of it, so you can always go back and do this again if you ever feel called to. And even if you just want to play one part of it, like this bowl in particular, part of me is thinking maybe I need to record this bowl, just this bowl for you. I might do that. Give me feedback if you want me to just record a small segment of that last bowl. Kind of feels like maybe I should do that. So keep me posted. Love you. Have a great rest of your night. I'll see you guys soon.